Hi everyone, hope you are. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Cardano. Once again, thank you for your continued support. Just want to say thank you for all the contributions. Sharing is caring, and honestly, thank you for your membership in the Patreon there. If you're not a member in the Patreon, do head over to that. All the links are on CoinsKid.com in the link section, and also in each video description. So hope you have a really good Thursday moving forward. It's a bit of a correction, a bit of a sell-off, but look, just remind you, look, here's a bit of a sell-off, there's 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 a bit of a sell-off. It's normal, okay? It's perfectly normal, and it's part of the process of progression. Unfortunately, you know, we all want big rocket ships into space, but the more it sort of goes up in them staggered events, like I've said to you, the more healthy it'll become, and you're going to sort of that nice progression growth. Because I don't even need to tell you how fantastic a project Cardano actually is, okay? And it is a fantastic project, and you know, you will always see, oh, it's a shit coin. Okay, mate, yeah, that's your own judgment. We know the truth. We know that it's fantastic, and we know that it's actually making strides, and it's evolving basically, and it's a part of a fantastic ecosystem, crypto. So it's all good. It's all good marching forward. So right now we're going to dive into the. You can see right now we're going to dive into the 4-hourly time frame on Cardano. So effectively on the 4-hourly time frame, and you can see that we fell out of this particular pattern that we're forming. This hopefully was forming this sort of ascending triangle. We have come back into the pattern, but I'm going to show you. I was targeting this on the hourly time frame. So on the hourly time frame, we got a nice little bounce off this support line. Do you see this? This is what you do. You draw trend lines in to see where the support levels are. And like I said to you in yesterday's video, you've had multiple touches of support on this particular trend line. And I did say to you, if you do start to go short, if you do start to lose it, do anticipate you're going to come down. But obviously, Cardano got bought up from this previous low there. Do you see that? Because that's how strong Cardano is. It's really, really strong. That it found a really high level of support. It's not really correcting as deeply as the other cryptos that you're looking at right now, and that's a really good indicator for strength, basically. So yeah, on the hourly time frame, you can see we come down. We got the bounce, started to pick up, but then obviously Bitcoin corrected even more with the Elon tweet, and it just capitulated and rolled over. But right now, Cardano got bought up really well, and it started to come back into this ascending triangle. Now, if it can remain in this ascending triangle and not roll over anymore, then that would be really good for Cardano, obviously, and you start to pick up and start to trade back in it before moving closer and closer to the apex, so to speak, like this, before you do actually break out up towards that sort of $2 mark. But right now, full transparency, it is all basically on Bitcoin, isn't it? And until Bitcoin sort of slows down in whatever it's doing and that correction's over and done with, then I would anticipate that you might see a bit of up and down for Cardano. But you can see right now that this particular level of support is really, really strong for Cardano. So do come and put that into your targets just there, into your charts, because you can see when it came up, it created a high, come back and create that level of support just there. Do you see that? And that's where it found support, just there at $1.50. So right now, if you do start to see Cardano close below $1.50, because there is a bit of a reversal pattern here as well, I'm always going to be transparent with you and show you exactly what we've got on the go for Cardano. If you do start to see it come close below $1.50, I would anticipate that you would be looking at a $1.41 Cardano token, and you would start to see a bit of a larger correction right there for Cardano. But what you've done here by coming down like this and creating this bottom and coming up and creating this level of resistance and coming back down and creating this bottom here, you're creating something called a double W bottom. Do you see this? So you've got your support line right there that I'm going to draw in for you just there. That's a resistance line, sorry, a level of resistance right there that Cardano has created for itself. So I'll do zoom in. This is the hourly time frame as well, don't forget. So what you've done here, you've effectively running out of selling pressure now. If you can keep coming back up, it's almost an head and shoulders as well, an inverse head and shoulders pattern as well. Do you see this? Because you've got your left shoulder, you've got your head, and then potentially if you start coming back up like this for Cardano, then you're forming like a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, and that has a breakout. So I will show you that breakout, but you do need Cardano to march back on and tackle this level of resistance, because if you do start to see it close above that level of resistance, you've got a nice little upside there for Cardano, and I'll show you exactly what it is. So it's off a neckline of the inverse head and shoulders, or the W double bottom, or the ascending triangle again. Do you see that? So effectively, if you was to break out, you would start to see Cardano pump around to about $1.91 there. If it starts to break this key level of resistance, because it's an inverse head and shoulders, it's basically a depleting selling trend, because you've come down, you've made a low, then you've made a lower low, and now you're starting to make these high lows. it's sort of running out of steam. So you sort of going this way. Do you see that? You reverse the trend effectively after a little bit of a sell-off. So you do need to see Cardano get back above the hourly 20 EMA, the hourly 55 EMA, sorry, and the 20 on the hourly time frame. Don't forget, this is the hour, not the 4 hour, not the daily, it's the hour. So come to the hour. If you start to see Cardano do something like this and tackle this key level of resistance, start to close above $1.74 for Cardano, you will be looking at a beautiful little upside and a reversal pattern just there for Cardano, taking you up to them new highs right there. So from there, what you do, you wait for confirmation. So example, wait for the candle to close back above this level of resistance, back test of support. So something like this, okay, where you start to see this for Cardano. That would be a confirmation statement of a potential reversal right there, and you could be looking at a lovely little trade of around 10% for Cardano just there. So that would be good. So keep an eye on that on the hourly time frame, because right now, I'm not going to lie to you, at the moment you're falling under the EMAs on the hourly there. You are in a bearish cross, okay, you've got this bearish cross just here, see that, and you're coming up and you're sort of hitting your head. You've hit your head on this resistance, which is good, but obviously when you've come back down, you fell under the EMAs. If you do continue to stay under the EMAs, you will come back down and you'll make a lower low than this, and effectively you're continuing with the downtrend. Do you see that? And then you'll break that 150 and potentially looking at $1.41 for Cardano, and sort of have a bit of a correction before continuation right there for Cardano. But so far, it's looking relatively healthy. You do need to see this continue to sort of make this type of pattern. So it's a reversal pattern, effectively coming back up, running out of steam on the selling side, and you get that upside for Cardano and continuation in this bull run. So unfortunately, you know, these are unforeseeable events with Bitcoin, what happened there with the tweet, but we was anticipating a bit more of a pullback on Bitcoin, to be honest with you. It needed to come back down to a level of support, and it may actually come back down to that particular level today or at some point soon. So do anticipate that if it does, you do look at Bitcoin, it is rolling, it does 9 times out of 10 it does take the market with it, okay, and that's why you may see that sort of sell-off for Cardano. And like I said to you, if you do start to see the close below $1.50, do anticipate that you would be looking at a $1.41 Cardano token, because effectively what you've got on the go here, and I'll show you, okay, you've got a reversal pattern in itself, you've got the double M top pattern just there. Do you see that? I'll tidy this up and I'll show you what I mean. So just to clarify, that if you do start to see Cardano close above $1.74 and backtest to support, you could be looking at a lovely little inverse head and shoulders pattern that's being created there, a reversal trend effectively up to that $1.91 and continuation in this bull market. But if you do see Cardano start to close below this particular level right here, and I'll show you, if you do start to see it come down and consistently close below this particular level, you've got a bit of reversal pattern in itself there, okay, because it's a double top, effectively a double M top pattern. Do you see this? And effectively what you've done, you're running out of steam, so to speak, and it's a reversal pattern. And from there, obviously, you've got the breakout, and it is roughly something like this. That's where you can see it's sort of cascading and rolling over to that $1.41, so to speak. So do keep an eye on that particular level right there. If you do start to see Cardano close below $1.60 consistently like this, start to come down even more, that's where you could see that potential downside there for Cardano. So yeah, that's Cardano in a nutshell. Stay strong, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow with another update on Cardano.